Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hexen. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of TAA, taking a quick peek at the gas rifle, which can chain down a sentinel before he has time to react. Cool or lame? I'm not too sure. Before we get going, I just want to emphasize how important it is to have a heavy on the flag. It is very important. You should always have a heavy on the flag. I don't care if it's in a pub or in a competitive match. Well, a competitive match, you may not have one. But in a pub, there should always be a heavy on flag. See what I mean? Just unbelievable how many times in this game I chucked the flag up there expecting somebody to be up there, and there never was. It was blowing my mind. This game would have ended a lot quicker if we had any sort of competent defense. It gets better later in the game, though. So today we are looking at the Soldier class, and we are fulfilling the role of medium flag runner. And you can do this on any map. Just simple as the title states, you are a soldier and you go after the flags. Here you see me doing a static route, which means you generally have a starting point on the opposite side of the map instead of utilizing your own spawn point and the hills between you and the enemy base. You're going to be setting up over on the other side. Unfortunately, I did not get a capture out of this route for this game. I did, however, get into a position that I found to be one of the weirdest standoffs I've had in pubs, and this just demonstrates the kind of zaniness that can happen in pub games. Now, yeah, it happens because people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Just in pubs, people are not as high tip-top level skilled players as they are in competitive matches, but this is the kind of stuff that moves the game one way or the other, and this was a real turning point in this game, which I find interesting, that just these little slip-ups like this can be a deciding factor in the outcome of our game. That flag sat over there for like 15 seconds. None of their teammates tried to retrieve it. The guy in the strike was yelling at the team to retrieve the flag. No one was listening. I ended up getting back over there, getting the flag again, and this resulted in a capture and was sort of the tipping point for the match. We were behind almost the entire game. There was a point, I believe, where we were down 4-1 or 4-2, and we came back. I always find it interesting that these small little moments, these little slip-ups of just the enemy team unaware for that 15 seconds when their flag was on our side of the map, can have such a profound impact on the end of the game. I really do believe this was a turning point. After this, we kept getting flags and we kept denying theirs. It was pretty absurd, and these little moments in time fascinate me because they have such a... they're so small and they may seem irrelevant insofar as the total playtime is concerned, but they do decide outcomes of games. And yeah, it just happens in, you know, pub play, but it is still interesting to me, so that's why I decided to keep the clip in there. Coming back to the timeline of the game, that was taken out of context. That happened later in the game, but this is kind of an improvised route that I created in the middle of playing here, and that's one of the neat things about being a medium capper with the soldier, is that he has one of the highest energy pools out of any of the classes. So it's neat to see what you can come up with on the fly like this. I mean, I take the flag and I jump right into the watering trench here and use it to my advantage. This did result in a capture, and it was totally improvised. I did not have it planned out at all. And that's what you need to keep throwing at the enemy in pub matches, is just surprise. Vary your routes up, vary your angles of attack and your capture routes up, because it does make a difference. If you keep coming the same way every time, even a pub player is going to figure that out. The first flag route that you saw me run and talk about, the one that led to the odd positioning of the game, that one got recognized after about 4 attempts, and so I had to switch it up to these different routes, one of which is coming up here behind you. Right, from behind you, because you're totally watching this video with your back to the monitor and looking over your shoulder. Real smooth. Anyways, coming back to the game, this is a nice little side-to-side route that can be done or started from any spawning point on the right-hand side of the map for Diamond or Blood Eagle. Really quick route, makes a nice little circle around the map, And this clip also demonstrates what to do when you got a Shrike chasing after you. I really don't see what the big deal about it is. You just make them crash into each other. Yep, no big deal whatsoever. Got the flag capture out of it, you know, standard play here. You will see me use this route again to cap out the game here in this final clip. Use the thumper to give myself a little bit of a boost. Fly right over the top of the buildings, down the opposite slopes of the hill. And this is why I usually pick the energy pack when I'm flag running, because I want that extra energy pool in case I need to improvise, like you saw earlier. A lot of medium flag runs are improvised, on my end anyway. In my opinion, they kind of should be. You can nail them down if you want, but improvisation, I think, throws the enemy team off more than just one or two really fast routes. Especially in pub games, there's usually not a lot of coordination going on either team. You might get a few guys on Blood or Diamond that are talking to each other and, you know, trying to coordinate strategies, but in general it's a much more looser experience in a pub match than, say, if you played in a pickup match. With this role, you're not going to get top scorer. You will, however, contribute to your team's overall win, and that's what matters. You're not going to be recognized as a super beast, slayer, or anything like that, but in general, this role should be fulfilled in every pub match, in my opinion. So moving on to the loadout screen, I decided to go with the new gas rifle in theory instead of out of experience. In theory, this weapon, I believe, better complements the style that I'm trying to fulfill, the flag runner, because it does more damage per shot. If you're encountering chasers in the midfield or in a standoff situation, especially the first wave of chasers, they're going to be low health because they've nitroned and disjumped themselves in order to get close of you to get that flag back. So I find that a weapon that deals more damage per shot makes more sense to me than a weapon that requires me to land more shots over a greater period of time. For my secondary, I went with the Thumper DX, specifically because it has that big radius, or a larger radius, than the new Thumper. The new Thumper is more of a dueling weapon, in my opinion, whereas the regular Thumper still retains its role in flag clearing. Still an awesome dueling weapon in its own right, but for this specific role, it's the best secondary you can have. Oddly enough, now that the new patch has come out, the Soldier seems to have the most powerful grenade in the game. The new grenade that the Soldier got is pretty absurd with how powerful it really is. It's a short fuse, meaning it goes off almost immediately, and is a great present to leave behind for the Hoff if you're quick enough. I am not too sure on this weapon yet. Still playing around with all the new weapons, and I've not really formed concrete opinions on any of them, but this one is kind of sticking out to me as a little bit overpowered. It's like they took the Technician grenade, which was one of the best, and gave it to the Soldier. So, who knows, still playing around with it. As I already mentioned, the energy pack was the pack that I used today because it allows me more flexibility and creativity when creating the on-the-fly routes that you saw me do in the game. Having the extra energy available just means that there's more freedom to kind of do what you want. You can get really high up into the air and use that downward momentum on a slope close to the enemy base and pull off some pretty ridiculous flag runs. The armor is fully upgraded per usual, and for the perks I decided to go with what I knew. I have not tried out Rage or the new lightweight perk yet, but I do know, and I have played with for quite a while now, Reach and Egocentric. Reach makes the most sense to me as a flag runner. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility and increases the proximity required to grab the flag. Very useful for maneuvering around jugs or heavies that are sitting on the flag stand. And the secondary perk, Egocentric, I use Egocentric all the time. You didn't see me use it a lot in the game footage, but I do boost myself all the time with the Thumper. I do those thump jumps to get that extra speed going, and on my runs and returns if I have enough life left. My name is Hexen. I would like to thank you all for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe for more Tribes Ascent content. I'm coming out with new stuff all the time. Questions and comments are appreciated. Everybody, You have a good one. I will see you next time.